please hit that subscribe button.
Hey everybody.
Better suited to win the Stanley Cup this season. If you are new to the channel, the Washington Capitals, the Boston Bruins.
Lockdown and he scored! And we're live. Hey everybody, it's time for another episode of Hit or Miss as we continue along with the Atlantic Division. We only have a few teams left to do. Obviously, we're in our final division as we've gone through all the others. We started this one with Boston. We've talked about Toronto. I think you can guess who's next, the Montreal Canadiens. So in this episode, I'll be looking at Montreal Canadiens draft picks from 2005 through 2015 and determining if each pick is a hit or a miss. Before I start, I just ask that you please hit that like button and subscribe to this channel if you're new. Both of those things greatly help out very, very much and are greatly appreciated. But let's get into it here. Montreal Canadiens first round draft picks starting in 2005, where they selected 5th overall and took goaltender Carey Price. Obviously, this one is a hit as Carey Price has gone on to be one of the best goaltenders in NHL history, playing 682 games, going 348, 250, and 74 with a 2.49 goals against average and a .917 career save percentage. Now, the team in front of Carey Price has not been nearly as good the last few years as they used to be. Carey Price hasn't been as good the last few years as he used to be. However, don't forget the mid-2010s, early mid-2010s, where Carey Price was the best goaltender in the world. He was an incredibly, incredibly good goaltender in his prime. Obviously, he ended up getting overworked. He got a massive contract that he's never going to fully live up to. But it's not really Carey Price's fault. The team in front of him has gone downhill significantly, and obviously that's put a lot more pressure on Price himself, and he hasn't been able to perform at that level. But Carey Price is one of the best goaltenders of this generation. It's very unfortunate that Montreal hasn't been better in front of him because he's really a goaltender that should probably have won a couple of Stanley Cups. He's that good, and he was that good for a long, long time in the league. So Carey Price is absolutely a hit at number 5 overall. Fantastic, fantastic goaltender who's definitely gone downhill a little bit recently, but it's largely not his fault. 2006, they selected 20th overall, and with that pick, they took defenseman David Fisher. That's a miss. I don't know who David Fisher is, and that's because he played 0 NHL games, zeros across the board, no nothing. Didn't even touch NHL ice. So obviously that is not what you're looking for with a first-round pick, and that one is a miss. In 2007, they had 2 first-round draft picks. First one coming 12th overall, where they selected defenseman Ryan McDonagh. Obviously a huge hit here as McDonagh has gone on to have a stellar NHL career as a very, very strong two-way defenseman, now with the Tampa Bay Lightning. 622 games played, 63 goals, 236 career assists for 299 points and a plus 187 on his career. Great D-zone player, great leader, really, really good defenseman. First for the New York Rangers for a long time, now with Tampa Bay. Great pick here for Montreal, except they traded him away in one of the worst trades in franchise history, sending him in a package to the New York Rangers in exchange for Scott Gomez, who was horrible for Montreal. Brutal, brutal trade there, but the pick itself was absolutely fantastic. Ryan McDonagh is absolutely a hit. They picked again 22nd overall, and with that pick, they took left wing Max Pacioretty. Another massive hit here as Pacioretty has gone on to have a fantastic NHL career as a top 6 winger and one of the better goal scorers in the NHL. He's played 763 games, scoring 280 goals, 274 assists for 554 career points and a plus 41 rating. He's now with the Vegas Golden Knights. He's had a very, very good NHL career. Hard to believe he was still on the board at 22nd overall, really. Just a great pick there, and turned out to have a spectacular NHL career, still having a spectacular NHL career, over 500 career points and counting, over 700 career games and counting, and Pacioretty still, I think, has a lot left in the tank. 2008, they did not have a first-round pick, so we move on to 2009, where they selected 18th overall and took center Louis LeBlanc. Now, this one is another miss, as Louis LeBlanc only ever played 50 NHL games, scoring 5 goals, 5 assists for 10 points and a +4 rating. Obviously did not play very much at the NHL level, never played a full season at the NHL level, and just barely touched NHL ice throughout his career. Not what you're looking for in the first round, so that one is a miss. 2010, they selected 22nd overall, and with that pick, they took defenseman Jarred Tinordi. This one's another miss. Tinordi did play in the NHL this season with the Nashville Predators. However, he has spent a far more amount of time in the AHL, playing down in the minor leagues. He's never really fully made that jump to play a full season at the NHL. Since 2010 and over the course of his career, which, he's in his, late 20s now, he's only played 81 NHL games, scoring 1 goal, 10 assists for 11 points and a -8. He's an organizational depth defenseman. He's a good minor league guy, but he's never really fully made that jump to the NHL to the point where he plays, a regular shift at the NHL level. So Jarred Tinordi, at least for now, is a miss unless he somehow does make that jump in the next year or so. It's looking like he is a miss as far as a first-round pick goes. 2011, they selected 17th overall and took another defenseman, this time Nathan Beaulieu. Now, this one is a hit because Beaulieu has played a regular shift in the NHL over the last few years. He is now with Winnipeg. He's played for a few different teams, but in total, he's played 370 NHL games, scoring 12 goals, 77 assists for 89 points and a +21 rating. He's known more as kind of a defensive defenseman. He's not a big point producer, but he's tough. He's willing to fight. He can play physical. He's a good D-zone guy. Not a top 4 defenseman, not a great player or anything like that, but a solid depth defenseman at the NHL level. And he's played in the NHL now for a few years, getting a regular shift. So for a later first-round draft pick, that's good, to get an NHL player out of that. So that one is a hit. 2012, they selected 3rd overall. And with that pick, they took forward Alex Galchenyuk. Now, this one is a miss. Galchenyuk is still in the NHL. He's still playing regularly on an NHL roster. He's now with the Minnesota Wild. In 549 career games, he has 135 goals, 185 assists for 320 points and a -58 rating. He has never and probably will never live up to be a top 3 draft pick, and that's what makes this one a miss. Galchenyuk had one really, really good year with Montreal, and then it's been pretty much all downhill since then. He's really, really struggled. He's bounced around a lot of different teams now. He's gone from Montreal to Arizona to Pittsburgh and now to Minnesota. He's gone from Arizona. He's played for Arizona, Pittsburgh, and Minnesota now, all in the last couple years. Teams are giving up on him very quickly. I think the writing's on the wall with Galchenyuk. He's never going to live up to being the top 5 draft pick that he was. He's never going to be the player that he was expected to be. And outside of that one really, really good year in Montreal, he's pretty much been a complete disappointment in the NHL. So Alex Galchenyuk, while he is an NHL player, and has had a pretty long career that's still obviously continuing, he's certainly, I don't think, ever going to live up to being a number 3 overall pick, and that makes this one a miss. 2013, they selected 25th overall, and with that pick, they took forward Michael McCarron. This one's another miss, as McCarron has spent far more time down in the minor leagues than ever in the NHL, only playing 69 NHL games, scoring 2 goals, 6 assists for 8 points, and a -15 rating. Big, physical, depth-type forward, can fight, tough guy a little bit. But again, mostly an AHL player, really hasn't played much at the NHL level. That makes that one a miss. 2014, they selected 26th overall, and with that pick, they took right wing Nikita Scherbak. This is another miss, as Scherbak is now playing in the KHL, not in the NHL, not even in the AHL. He's gone back over to Russia. He only ever played 37 NHL games, scoring 6 goals and 2 assists for 8 points and a -8 rating. Really, really disappointing how he turned out for Montreal. There's always a chance, I guess, that he could possibly come back, but doesn't look like he's really going to make it at the NHL level. And, he's over playing in the KHL now. And that was definitely a miss for a first-round draft pick, only getting 37 games out of him. And then finally, that brings us to 2015, where they once again selected 26 overall, and this time took defenseman Noah Juulsen. And this one, at least for now, is another miss. Now, Juulsen is still young and still could certainly make that jump to the NHL, and if he does, I will gladly change this to hit. But for right now, he's only played 44 NHL games, scoring 2 goals, 6 assists for 8 points and a +6 rating. Funny how the last 3 guys all have 8 career points in the NHL. That's just a weird coincidence. But Juulsen has not made that jump to being a full-time NHLer yet, and that obviously makes that a miss so far. He's still young, just drafted in 2015. He's still in his early 20s. He can still possibly continue to develop and end up making that jump. And if he does, then this certainly could become a hit for Montreal. But as of right now, with only 44 games played, I would say Juulsen's a miss until he does finally become a full-time NHLer, if he ever becomes a full-time NHLer. There it is, guys. As you can see with Montreal, they've made some big hits. Especially, Carey Price was massive. Pacioretty was massive. McDonough was a big hit that they obviously traded away, unfortunately for them. But overall, a lot of misses here. Not great first-round drafting from Montreal, to say the least. A lot of big-time misses here that just never panned out. But that's the way it goes sometimes. And, we've seen that with multiple teams throughout this series where they just tend to miss a lot in the first round. And with that, like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links are down in the description if you'd like to further support the channel. Links to our Patreon and merchandise store down in the description as well. Keep spreading the word about this channel. Let's keep this thing growing. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.